Thank you for tuning in with Dr. Leisha, the Preacher. So I'm going live to talk about uncommitted men. Uncommitted men automatically yield uncommitted women. Men are the leaders, period. Men are the leaders. And how you can tell the condition that men are in, look at the women. Women are the direct mirrors of men. Excuse me, guys, I have a little bit of a cold that I'm recovering from. So, men, when you look around your community and you see the women and you see the children, and if you have a smile on your face, that's because of your leadership. If you have a frown on your face, that's because of your leadership. Women and children cannot go any further than the men in their lives. We just can't. We just can't. Now, are there some women who are independent that can take care of themselves and, quote unquote, don't need men or whatever? Of course. Of course. But I don't think it's because these women choose to be that way. I think the system of men chose it for her. Either maybe her father is not alive, or if he is alive, they do not have a relationship. If she has brothers in her life, maybe they do not have a relationship or they're dead. If she has uncles and people, other men in her life, maybe they're just not available for some whatever reason. And then, of course, as you men know, lovers come and go. Even husbands, they come and go. If a woman is lucky enough to get a legal husband, if she's even lucky enough, the chances of him staying, just statistically, just look at statistics, not emotions, not, social standards, her behavior and ability to keep a man and all that. Outside of that, just look at the numbers. The chances of a woman getting a husband, keeping him, so to speak, they're just very slim. Again, uncommitted men yield uncommitted women just by default. Outside of, good or bad personalities or ability to cook and clean and submit and all that, outside of that, those things have an impact, yes. They have an impact. However, before you even get that far, you know, it's your mindset and attitude, all of ours. men and women. And yes, how women respond to men's leadership does matter. How we respond to it does matter. So, for example, how can any quote unquote, now this is a trigger warning, I'm about to say something in response to the election results, okay? I'm uncommitted. I voted Democrat from age 18 clearly through Hillary Clinton. I was Democrat and voted that way. From age 18 clearly through Hillary Clinton. I was actually out in California visiting a couple. I was, interested in a couple, and I was out in California and I was visiting them for about a month. Northern California. Beautiful up there. So, anyway, there's a little community in, I think, Patterson, Northern California. That was really nice. But anyway, so, um, whew, um, yeah, so, I flew in because I did not do the mail in, thing. All that stuff was kind of new, like I'm old school. You go and vote. So I was out there considering even maybe trying to set up out there a little bit, but it didn't work out. So I'm like, let me get my butt on a plane because I can't, forfeit my vote, the first woman president. I was caught up. Well trained, born and raised Detroit, Michigan, big three kid. I'm a big three kid. We're like fourth generation of big three over here. So there was no other way to vote. Okay. So, but once she lost, I realized that, okay, the Democrats are Democrats up until it's time to actually vote a woman in. To actually. I mean, they may run campaigns for us and they may, let us in smaller positions and, stuff like that. But when it get down to the nitty gritty, even if other countries out there have female presidents, the United States is going to hold that card, the big joker. It's going to hold that big joker. Why? It's marketable. Hayala Momoshi. Yes, it's marketable. Okay. Because they know we women are going to continue to jump at it. As long as we continue to jump at it, you know, there's a market, there's money to be made. And then another thing, with them not quote unquote presenting real black people, now foundational blacks or native, just call it native, okay? The original um, dust and mist presentation here on this land that we now call America, um, until such a male and female, let's say male or female, begin to start running and being taken seriously, again, a whole open market of money making opportunity. So, once again, we haven't had our first woman. There's a lot of money to be made in that. That keeps America alive and going. I ain't mad. Hey, I like to play. I mean, life is boring without something to do. You got to have a little competition, a little ripple in the water here and there. I'm not mad. Okay. So, but now we have to have our actual first real black man and our actual. I'm sorry, guys. Let me grab something to drink. Okay, guys, thank you for your patience. I'm back. So, yeah, so again, these are, just marketing strategies and tools to keep our economy alive and going. I mean, like, why not? So the door is wide open for our first real black male and our first real, like, native from this country, originally woman, you know? So that's what's keeping the Democrat Party alive. They still haven't arrived with all this effort and energy and hype. That's a good word, hype. They still really haven't had the first native black man, native black woman, or any woman. So that keeps the Democrat Party alive and, something to do. But that also gives the Republican Party a chance to be the first in those areas as well. And technically, they've already started with Tim Scott. Whether you like Tim Scott or not, it does not matter. He fits the bill. He was considered. The Republican Party, technically, we had Jesse Jackson, back in the 80s, run Jesse run. But for whatever reason, America did not vote that way. They just didn't, you know. So we did have Jesse. Interesting. But anyway, but back to the Republican side, you know, they came up with Tim Scott. And so, I was supportive of that. And it wasn't about liking Tim or not. It really wasn't. And in fact, I thought it was smart for Tim to be neutral. He was a neutral guy. He was neutral. And he waited to see where the country wanted him to go as far as a wife, you know? And from what he could see, having a quote unquote, black wife, already, that card was already played on the Democrat side. And the America that we live in right now today, everyone knows that the average quote unquote successful black man has more respect, you know, on our land if he has a white wife, you know. So That's why, I'm not mad at my ex for leaving me for a white woman. I'm not mad. I'm hurt at how he did it because I gave him the play. I have emails explaining to him before he even filed for divorce, before he filed for divorce, before he left me, while he was leaving me, and I didn't even know about the white woman. I didn't even know about her. But I had already been, we were already in conversation and email for years about, you know, the advantages and disadvantages of him making that type of move. You know what I mean? Because all that matters to me, not the emotional stuff, I mean, the emotional stuff matter. Yeah, 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 yeah. But it's not just that. We live in a business world, you know? And I know that 50% of the money that I invested 25 years in our marriage is about to go to a white woman. And she did not earn that. She didn't raise the kids. I raised two sons for him. This is business now, y'all. This is not personal. This is not emotional. This is business. For 25 years, I raised two adopted sons for him. I already had two kids. I didn't need more. I didn't. If he needed his own bloodline, he should not have married a woman with two kids who was already married before. He should not have made such a play. So why should I suffer because he doesn't make good choices? That was not a good choice for him. So he should suffer the consequences of his bad choices, not me and my kids. And I know people will say, oh, how dare she say something like that? She's so ungrateful. She's so entitled. She don't appreciate anything he did. Oh, I did appreciate it. I raised two extra kids for him, gave up my independence, gave up my ability to have my own money. That was my appreciation. It ain't got nothing to do with no feelings, y'all. This is business. Business. Business would say, she raised two kids for you. She should get all the pension. I never stopped him from being with his white woman. I never stopped him at all. I didn't even know about her. We had an open marriage so he could be free. So whether men are single or married in this country called America, they can be with whoever they want. They're uncommitted. Whether legally married or not, the men in this country are so free. Uncommitted is just by default. Whether they like it or not, feel it or not, realize it or not, it's just the automatic default men are set up. My husband, during our marriage, it was legal for him to claim his mistress, her mother, and her children that she had by other men. He was able to legally claim her on his taxes. That's just how free this country is. Anyone that live in your home, anyone, whether it's your wife, your mistress, your real kids, adopted kids, step kids, it don't matter. Claim them. And I'm saying this like, do it. Like, why not? This is business. It may sound crazy, like, what the hell is she talking about? You can claim your mistress if she live in your house with you and your wife. Hell yeah. Once I realized that she was not charity, she came in our house as charity. She went from a charity case to being his mistress right in my home. And then when I realized, I was like, well, regardless of how I feel, she's being claimed on taxes around this bitch. This is business now. It went from charity, we just helping our daughter's girlfriend, you know, to now she's your woman. Oh, wow. So I ain't argue, fight, none of that. I just, he let it happen. She let it happen. Now, who am I to stop it, right? I just live here. I'm just the wife who live here, who's raising kids and gave up her career, right? So again, feelings and stuff don't matter. This is legal court business stuff. And when I realized and started doing my research that, you know, the process of trying to evict, whether she's charity or the mistress, was going to be a process where we lived. Where we lived, it was going to be a process. So I had to do my research and do my due diligence to get rid of her. And then, I am a believer. Whether, regardless to any religious titles I've ever had in my life, when you boil it down to the nitty gritty, I am a believer. And as a believer, when someone's in your home, you treat them as well as yourself. So even though they did disgusting things to me, they were disgusting in my face, in front of my kids' face, in front of both our families, so I just had to, put on my big girl panties. That's what I used to say back in the day. Y'all, I'm wearing my big girl panties. And I had to, lead my family out of that misery. That was misery and embarrassing and shameful that my own husband would get involved with our daughter's lover in our home, in our face, in front of our neighbors, our family, friends, everybody. And to this day, they're still in contact. And he has nothing to do with us, but everything to do with her and his new wife who tolerates all this. And, you know, she chose to tolerate it. It was forced on me. It was forced on me and I had to write it out. But she chose to go into this. So that's why I have to, put this shit on blast. Do I want to be out here humiliating myself and my family? No. But he already did it. He already did it. So he ended it his way, which was so disgusting. Well, I'm going to end it a different way. And hopefully my ending will bring millions to me and my children's shame. Hopefully you all will help put millions of dollars on me and my children's shame. Because, yeah, stepfathers, some are great. Some are great. I had a good one. I had a good one. So that's how I know that I brought a really messed up one into my children's life because I had a good one. Some are really great out there. I've seen some great stepfathers, and I had a good one, but I know that I brought a bad one in my children's life. And I'm being responsible and showing accountability by giving the details so that other women can know what signs to look for and how to know when Most High is leading you out of it, where you and your kids are not just absolutely busted and disgusted and broke and drug addicts and suicidal and, all of that, like me and my kids end up. And he just go on to a whole fresh family like nothing ever happened. Like he's so sweet and innocent and didn't do anything. So uncommitted men have way too much freedom, whether they legally married or not. And they go into women's lives and their children's lives like brutal beasts, and they just destroy these families. And then just go to the next family. And then they be like, I don't know why this woman left me. I don't know why they got, teenagers sucking their dicks. They got teenagers sucking their dicks for $20, marrying the next desperate hoe, silly hoe, just scoping, waiting for the next silly hoe. Got a whole history of women that they've known their whole life that they can just pimp for $20 themselves. So they getting $20 from women they've known their whole life. to give it to the sugar babies that's sick on their dicks. That's how the system works, y'all. These old men, they just bounce from one legal old wife to the next, busting them down in their families, sleeping with their kids, sleeping with the grandkids and their friends, any kids, it don't matter, male, female, that you bring to them. They're violating your kids all through your families. And then still getting money from you to give to young girls out there for diaper money. It's just really crazy out here. And these men love it. They love it. Love it. They see us crying and complaining and they don't care. They just keep going from woman to woman to woman to woman, high-fiving each other. They're high-fiving the whole way. And while we're out here crying and suffering, they're high-fiving and pimping us left and right. They're uncommitted. Whether they're legally married to you or not, they're winning. And we're out here fighting each other for a few dollars. Raising the kids. We're out here fighting each other, raising the kids, while all these uncommitted men are running around high-fiving, pimping us. So at some point, we're going to have to say no, not so much to sex per se. We're not saying no to family. We're not saying no to marriage. We're not saying no to opportunity. We're not saying no to generational wealth. No, we're not saying no to what is right. We're saying no to the BS, no to the game. Stop running through a bunch of women, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of women, whether you're legally married or not, leaving them with a bunch of kids, calling them hoes, ugly bitches, and just go to the next. Ha, 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 ha. With your bellies full. Running all around the country. So, does this apply to every individual man? Of course it does not. No, it does not. And every woman knows that. Every woman knows that this does not apply to every individual man. However, it does apply to the majority. All you got to do is look in the mirror at yourself and look around you at your family and friends. And how many men do you know is sleeping around with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of women in their lifetime, legally married or not, making babies, blaming all this on women, calling them hoes and bitches. And then they get in their 50s and 60s and 70s, still thinking they're young, and cash apping and paying 20-year-olds to suck their dicks. We all know somebody like that. Most of you are looking at that person in the mirror. Most of you are looking at that person in the mirror. Whether you married or not, you know that you are just with random women on a regular basis. You are the hoe that you are accusing these women of being. These women cannot be hoes without you. How can a woman be a hoe without a man leading the way? For every hoe of a woman that you see, it's because of a hoe of a man. leading the way. Come on now. Come on now. Can't no woman be no more of a hoe than a man allow, than her father allow, than her brothers allow, than her uncles allow, than the men that claim to love her, her lovers, her husbands, no more than what they allow. Take some responsibility and accountability for the women in your life. Uncommitted men create uncommitted women. There's no other way. There is absolutely no other way. It starts with fatherhood, brotherhood, unclehood, neighborhood, and lover. You just have to love her. When men love women, these things cannot happen. She can never be a hoe. A woman that has a man in her life, men in her life that love her, can never be a hoe. Ever, ever, ever. And I am yet to be loved by a man the right way. Thank God for a good enough stepfather. Thank God that I had a good enough stepfather. But I have yet to be loved correctly by a man. I'm 55 years old. And I had a good grandfather and I've had some good men in my life. Thank God that they, worked and provided and paid bills so I could have somewhere to live and something to eat. Thank God. And allowed my mother to be in the position to be the mother that she was, to make sure that I had provision. Thank God for all that. But at the end of the day, I have yet, at 55 years old, whether through family, friends, or a lover, husband, on any level, have I yet can say that a man has loved me. And if it's my fault, then okay. Thank God that I've survived my own demise. So, ladies, if you're the kind of woman that, for whatever reason, you are not worthy of the love of men, even though you may have had some good ones around you. You may have had some good bosses and, you know, people that didn't rape you, people that didn't hurt you. Thank God for those people that didn't harm you, just flat out harm you. Thank God for those people. But for whatever reason, if you're the kind of woman from birth all the way until you leave this earth, no man has ever really truly looked you in your face and said, I love you just because of you. And then treat you like that. And actually treat you like that. All I can say is congratulations for surviving and making it. And I'm high-fiving you. I'm one of you. I survived a life of no love. At least the kind of love where you didn't have to suffer, you know. I'm only uncommitted at this point because no man has committed to me, to love me for me. I mean, just me. Me. The good, the bad, and the breath of life that's in me. Just flat out me. Period. And I'm 55 and I have two daughters and I have seven grandsons and one granddaughter. And I don't want to waste any more of my life hoping for some love that doesn't exist. So I choose to give all the love that I've been giving away really for free without it being reciprocated. I choose to bottle that love up and give it to my children, my two daughters and grandkids, eight grandkids at this point. At least with them, I can watch it grow. At least with them, I can see it, you know, flow. I can see them give it back to the world. You know, even if my own kids and grandkids don't have the energy and strength because of my bad choices and lack of love in life. You know, um, even if they don't have the strength to give it back to me, I'm okay with it. I can still see my seeds of love and care and unconditional, attention and sacrifices of working. Like now, I choose not to work. Well, I have alimony. Thank God for the alimony that's going to run out. But until it run out, I'm going to continue to live as a minimalist. I don't know life any other way. Continue to live life like I always have, and invest in my kids and grandkids right now. I'm going for broke for them. I'm not going to ever go for broke for a man again. No, 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 no. I'm not going to ever go for broke for family members again outside of my kids and grandkids. No, 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 ever again. Nope. No family, friends, lovers. I ain't going broke for y'all. No, 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 no. Just my kids and grandkids. Because at least with them, even if they can't give it back, and I'm okay with that because I know I didn't deserve it. I didn't earn it. I didn't put enough in them to get it back. You know what I'm saying, y'all? So, but I freely give them what's left of me. And I'm not going to give it to these men who's just out there going to go to the next woman. You know what I mean? I mean, I've had men ask me for money, and I was like, no, I don't have it. Okay, I'm just going to go ask so and so. Okay, good luck. Thank you. Go ask so and so. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm done with that. And they don't even know they being rude because that's what they used to. They used to that, and I just don't want to be disrespected like that. And the people don't even know they disrespected me. They don't even know it. So I'm done. Done with men and being disrespected. Not saying that all men are like that, but those type of men are not the ones in my community that are available to me. And for whatever reason, whether it's my fault, my family fault, their fault, it don't matter who fault it is at this point. I'm too old to care. So the best thing I can do is give the best that I have to my responsibility, to my commitments, you know? Yeah, to my children and grandchildren. Those are the people who earn and deserve whatever I got left. Because whatever I have now, I sacrificed to get it so we all can have it together. You know, I had to script and scrape and fight and endure a lot of disrespect, but we're here. And hopefully they don't have to endure any more disrespect, you know, because of me, and because of who I choose to lay up with. I don't want who I don't want my kids to ever have to suffer again in life because of who I choose to have sex with. That is so ridiculous. That is a weak, weak woman. And I'm glad I choose to no longer be a weak woman because of some sex. Wow. But I'm so glad that I live to be able to tell it and to be able to tell women, I was dumb, y'all. Women, I was dumb. I was dumb. I was weak. I was silly, just like the Bible say. And some people may say, well, Jesus Christ, if you know, do it as good as you do it, because to some people, I'm doing okay in life. And I do realize that. To a lot of people, you ain't doing bad. You did great in life. You were married for 30 something years. You got education. You able to travel. Your kids were, star athletes. You were always a star athlete, and you this, you that. And so to some people, my life was wonderful and amazing and great, and they don't see why I'm complaining at all. And I'm so thankful, that there are people that see that too. I'm glad there's people that see that too. I am. Because I see that too. I see that part of my life. That's what kept me motivated and going. My own creativity, my ability in the midst of how bad a situation is to still maximize the good. Because the thing about, that's another video. I'm going to stop it right here, guys. Thank you for hearing me, whether I said things the right way or not, correct English or not, whether, it was racial or not, or uh, against somebody or not. All I can do is apologize, but I am going to express myself. I have to. If I don't express myself, then I will die. I will. Maybe not you. Some people will not live if they're not silent. I was in that position before. I would not have had a happy life had I told certain things along the way. The parts of my life that were happy, the parts of my life that were happy, I would not have had those moments had I told this stuff at that time. So I had to wait until I was independent enough. I had to wait till, both husbands left me for the other women. I had to wait, you know, until um, I had no choice to be independent. No choice, you know. So now that I'm here, I can share my story. In fact, if I don't, I may not eat. I was left with such little till the only hope to even eat after alimony is to talk right now. If I speak enough now, within the next year, telling my story, maybe I can, get enough books written, get enough, get a TV show, movie, something. Possibly. I don't know. Who knows? All I can do is try. So, again, uncommitted men are just way too free, whether they're legally married or not. It's really the same. Think about it. Two men can legally get married now. Two men can legally. Wow. When I first got married, men could not get married when I first got married. So things are so liberal and so free and so out there till I just let those balloons go. Let those balloons go. Let me focus on what I got in my own womb, what's in my own hands, what's in my own life. Let me focus on my own breath. Don't focus on these men so much because they just run from woman to woman to woman, woman to woman to woman. If I ain't got $20, they'll just go to the other woman and get $20. It's that easy out there. So that's why they don't commit. That's what one guy told me. Love the freedom. Now he's a Democrat because he loved the freedom. The freedom to be uncommitted. Don't have to commit to nobody. Not even to himself. For real, for real. Yeah. That's just how free America is, and I'm not mad about it. I believe we all should choose what we want. I'm not mad. I just want to understand and know why people do what they do. And I just have to learn how to use my discernment as I have been doing. I've been doing it. But now I got to learn how to sharpen it and save myself time. I got to be able to peep people's game much earlier. You know what I mean? And it'll shave time off of me, you know. But I know how to, you know, preserve my time. Um, well, let me see. Preserve my energy while people think they're wasting my time. I know how to protect and preserve my energy while people think they're wasting my time. It's a gift that Most High give out. It's not something that, you know, timing and alignment and things like that in a divine way, and connecting it to the natural realm and all that. You know, it really takes skill, you know, especially when you're dealing with people and helping them to see themselves, you know. But anyway, that is just my take, and you may agree or disagree, and that's fine. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I love the freedom of choice. I love the freedom of growth. I love the freedom of agreeing and disagreeing. I love being able to know when I'm deadlocked with somebody and knowing when I have to make a move or when I got to stand still. And I always pray and ask Most High, Lord, do I move or do I stand? And He always let me know, bust that move, or you stay right there, you post up, let them move. You know what I mean? So that's just how, you know, God is in my life. And yeah, yeah. So now I get to tell my story now that there's no men in my life. I mean, like, when I say there's no men in my life, now there is um, possibly a friend coming on the scene. There's possibly a friend coming on the scene, you know? But that's exactly what he is, a friend. Exactly who he is to me, a friend. And I kind of forgot about this person a little bit, you know, or I thought they were gone, you know. Some people you press the pause button on, not that there was an ending or that, you know, it's not that there was an ending. Some relationships you put a pause on because I got to take care of this and take care of that. So you press the pause button. There's no activity with it so that you can handle certain business, let certain things play out. And then when the time is appropriate, you can unpause and see where things are. So I'm kind of liking that situation, you know, kind of. It's so fresh, it's hard to tell. You know what I mean? So fresh. But as far as in my past goes, my past is clear and free of all exes. Those exes are there, you know, but there's no connection, no hope, no possibility in my present life with these exes, nor in the future. You know what I mean? There is one pause, though, I realized back in the day. I pressed a pause button, you know. And I wasn't sure if it was an ending button or a pause button. But because there's any question, hey, it's worth pausing to find out. You know what I mean? And so, but as far as like ex-husbands, ex-boyfriends, ex-lovers, ex anything like that, it feels so good, guys, to have closure and a proper ex, meaning closure in all those positions, spots. I know in my heart, I don't know what they think and feel. I can't control how other people think and feel, especially as they running around out there, in and out of marriages and in and out of other women's, whatever they can get out of them. You know what I mean? Running out of other women's beds, marriages, relationships, wallets, homes, whatever they're doing. You know what I mean? So I am done with all those exes. Woo, thank God to be free from the uncommitted men. Ooh, the uncommitted men are out of my life, the uncommitted ones. But there was one that I felt was the committed type. I felt that his level of commitment, his level of honesty, was comfortable. No one is perfect, it's not about being perfect, you know, but to have met a man that has proven, even when he was on pause, even on pause, without us even keeping up with each other, noticing each other, he was still living, the life that I've always thought that he was living, before I put him on pause, you know. And this particular man is married. He's been married a very, very, very long time. He and his wife, um, a beautiful wife, they started their marriage off as polyamorous people. They've always had other loves from day one. That's just who they are, you know. Now, I don't know if they actually had other lovers when they got married, but they entered the marriage knowing. I mean, they've been married like a very, very long time. And I was one of their considerations. I was one of their considerations many years ago. But because of the condition of my marriage, I put that on pause because I didn't want to mess it up. You know what I mean? You know, I mean, the situation wasn't perfect. It's not about perfection for me. It's not about that. It's just the level of commitment to yourself, the level of commitment to your wife, the level of commitment to your family, and the level of commitment to honesty. Honesty at all cost means so much to me. Honesty at all cost means so much to me. So I'm willing to unpause this, you know, married couple to, explore. But I'm just gonna take my time, guys. Just take my time because hey, there's nothing to prove. There is nothing to prove. I'm already impressed. I'm already impressed. And so, you know, all we can do is just take our time and enjoy the journey and see where it goes. I don't know, guys. There's nothing, no titles, no, just let it flow. See where it goes, you know. So I like mature, experienced people like myself. Even if it wasn't perfect and you made a lot of mistakes and all of that, the commitment is that you stick together, figure it out, and make it happen. You know, flaws and all. Flaws and all. The good and the bad. You know, that's what I like about Adam and Eve. No matter what happened, we all have our own interpretation and story and colorful way of expressing what happened. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I know there's something about private interpretation in the Bible. Like, you can't have a private interpretation. Well, who the one source that created each of us individual gives us an individual mind. And he tells the same story to each individual mind. So my mind has the right to report out what I believe Most High is saying, even if it's different than what he's telling you. It's not that what he's telling you is different. It's just that the way you report out is different. Maybe he is telling us all the exact same thing, but we are reporting out differently. We all are sharing the exact same experience, but we're reporting it out differently. And it's okay. It's okay. Tell your story. Tell yours. I'm telling mine. And just like no matter what I say, it's not going to change your story. Well, no matter what you say, it's not going to change my story. That's where the deadlock come in. We're deadlocked. So unless you have emails, texts, unless you have documentation, uh, you know, unless you have documentation, proof, you know, they're just stories. The more evidence you have to support your story, then the more accurate and more believable you become. Otherwise, people can just hear it from your heart. You can't always hook the people legally. When you can't hook people legally, you just have to speak from your heart. And that's what I'm doing. Legally, there was nothing I can do to stop my husbands from being with other women and sharing with them the rewards of my labor. There was nothing legally I can do. Nothing. But now that they are legally in the desires of their hearts, they're legally living the desires of their hearts. Now I'm in the position to speak. That's the only position I can take, is to speak about what happened to me, because I was not left in the position to be quiet. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't left with enough money, enough documentation, enough incentives to remain silent. So, again, uncommitted men create uncommitted women. The more a man commit, the more committed a woman can be. And that one scripture says, what? Love does what? I may be paraphrasing. Love covers a multitude of sins. So the more committed a man is to a woman, the less likely the world will know anything about what he's doing. The less committed a man is to a woman, everybody gonna know what he doing. Everybody gonna know what he doing. There's no commitment. Commitment really is just an incentive to cover you. Cover what about you? Your business. That's what wives are for. Wives are an incentive to cover a man's business. But men today don't realize how much business they have. They don't value their own business themselves enough to cover themselves. So they're just running around wild. They're just running around from woman to woman, bed to bed, house to house, kids to kids, neighbor to neighbor, wallet to wallet, post to post. You know, blaming everybody, not taking responsibility, not being held accountable, being brutal and beastly and rude, disrespectful, putting their own business out there for real. So, anyway, it just feels good to finally, at age 55, have my past so clear till my present breath is just fresh. You know what I mean? The breath that I'm taking, like right now, I mean, I'm getting over a cold too, which is kind of weird too, you know, which my cold symptoms has been congestion in the chest and then, nasal and coughing, And so the chest part is pretty good, but the coughing and nasal part is what's been like my nose is running and, just harking and stuff. So, the chest is breaking up, the congestion in my chest is breaking up, the heaviness and congestion and all that is breaking up and it's, being released, rejected from my body, So that's one thing about rejection. When you are rejected by someone, you can use that energy, the energy of being rejected, the feelings, the impact, the decision, you know, the decision of rejection automatically sends out an impact. And that impact it can affect your finances, it can affect your mental understanding of things, your emotions, everything, So, but you can take that rejection and build off of it. You can rebuild your finances off of that rejection. You can rebuild your mental state by getting a little more understanding and clarity on the decisions made, more knowledge, and then you can rebuild your emotions. When you realize someone don't want you, don't love you, and just want your resources and don't want you, but just your resources, then it helps you to be able to cut them off easier. It helps you. So, yeah, learn to use rejection to rebuild yourself. But what people want you to do is to be quiet and do it. Well, that's what men do. If men want to be quiet while they rebuild themselves, fine, do that. But most women, we are communicators. And people may say our communication style is just being emotional. So, okay, Well, if you don't want no emotions, then marry a man. It's legal. It's legal to marry no emotions now. It's legal. So instead of complaining about how emotional or different women are, we're different. We're different. And it's not something to complain about, it's something to embrace. And if you don't have the gift of embracing the natural state of a woman, then just stay away from her and not complain about it. Allow the men that have the gift of embracing a woman's differences, you know, have women. And then just legally go be with a man. It is legal to be with men. You don't have to complain about women when you can just legally go be with a man. You don't have to use women by having sex with them knowing you're not going to be committed. Why have sex with a woman when you know you're not committed to her? You are manifesting a whore right in front of your face, hanging on your private parts. You have a whore hanging on your private parts and don't think you're one. How can a man have sex with a woman knowing he's not committed to her, think she's a whore, and not think that he's one, and then expect a wife one day? How many whore sessions do you get to have as a man, uncommitted, with too much freedom, running around for years and years and years and years and years, and then expect to get a wife or a fresh young girl? How is that fair? How on any level? I mean, I know y'all have come up with reasons. I know you have your reasons, you know, and that's one of the differences. But as far as women go, women, how does this make sense for us? You know what I'm saying? It makes sense to men. For whatever reason, it makes sense to them. And that's just one of those differences that we as women have to accept and respect about men. That logic makes sense to them. That's why they live that life. But we can't let that part of their leadership drag us into that lifestyle because that lifestyle does not benefit us. It doesn't benefit us because it leaves us in a position of having a lot of children by multiple men that are uncommitted. They're not going to claim the kids. So that's why when I realized that my ex-husband uh, took the young woman in her home, legal, she was over 18. We ain't talking about, you know, someone under 18, guys. But to me, whether you 18, 19, 20, when you that young, you don't know life, and anyone that's much older than you, they already know this, and they off the rip is taking advantage of you. Off the rip, it's just automatic. You haven't had enough life experience to make good choices for yourself as a person. Your family hasn't had a chance to develop you as a woman yet. Your family hasn't had a chance. If you got that kind of family. So what these older people don't realize, they're robbing you. And they do know this because most of these people got kids and grandkids. So they know exactly what they're doing to you. They know they're using and abusing you. To them, but she's making me happy. He's making me happy. I'm 50, I'm 60, I'm 70, and I screwed my life up. I go get someone 20, and they're making me happy because they're making me erase all the bad stuff I did. you know, they just want your money. They don't, they haven't, they just want a good time. You know, by the time they're your age, they would not even be like, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's how the world works. And there's nothing we can do about it but be smarter as women. Know how the game is played and teach each other and protect each other on the journey. Know that when you come across this type of guy, know what to expect. It's a temporary situation, in, out, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Avoid them. Avoid them, but most of us are not likely to, get through our entire life without coming across one or two. So when you do, we need to talk more about how to navigate these situations without being completely done for, you know, taken advantage of, or, ending up with the shortest possible end of the stick in these situations, you know. So I'm going to stop rambling now. Thank you all. I appreciate it. But, you know, it didn't matter who won this election when it comes to our personal choices. We got to do better. No matter who the leaders are in our lives, we must do better. Whether you're a man or a woman, do better. Do better. Do better. Do better. Do better by yourself, and then do better by those around you. You know? So I'm at the point now where I don't have a problem with singles and married people having relationships, as long as everything is open, honest, and there are, I believe in written agreements. I believe in relationship agreements. I do. That's just me. So, you know, so as long as everything is open and honest and there's no deception and lying and, sliding and, trying to always be ahead of everybody, ahead of the game and all that, then, I think it's all good. Over here with Dr. Leisha, the Preacher Ministries, you know, are there monogamous couples that are just into each other and there's no other, lovers and people involved? Absolutely. And I think that's a beautiful, wonderful thing. It's just something I've never experienced. I've never had that luxury. Personally. I personally have never had that luxury. And I'm at the point now where I accept that I will never have that experience. I will never have that experience. And it's okay. It's okay, you know. But I'm happy for those who have had that experience. Although I don't think I've ever met anyone, but I don't know. Who knows? Even the people that I think may be having that experience, we don't know. We don't know. People choose to be quiet. Love covers what? A multitude of sins. So the more committed people are, I won't even say love each other. Love ain't even got anything to do with it. The more committed you are to one another, you know, the more covered you are. And it don't matter if you legally married or not. The more committed you are, the more covered you are in a relationship. Period. That's my experience. And so moving forward, I'm not worried about, you know, some single guy or some single girl coming along, being the love of my life and we fall in love and live happily ever after. That's not my concern. Um, at this point, my concern are my own individual family, wealth and building, and and I want to surround myself by other people who live that way. They're more self family focused, self family focused. And some people may be single like me, solo, divorced, but most people are probably going to be married. Most people are going to be married, and and I'm good with that. My life is probably going to be mostly surrounded by married people that have multiple loves moving forward. The whole monogamous, one on one, that lifestyle it just, it's too, it's just so rare. It's too rare. It's so rare till I, there's no audience for it. The one on one with no cheating because I actually really like you, you know what I mean? Kind of stuff that it's just so rare till there's no audience. So I think the reason why channels that talk about cheating and all that get the most attention is because that's what the majority of the people are doing. So I think we may need to take the word cheating off of the table and just, we need to just accept the fact that people are non monogamous. We're non monogamous. That's the norm. And those who don't want to be, okay. The rest of us cannot make people who, want to be one on one feel bad. There's no reason. There's no reason. So I believe that once we shift and take away the taboo of multiple relationships, we'll have a lot less husbands divorcing their wives, messing up generational wealth for like 2 or 3 generations in a row. One divorce can throw the whole family off for like 2 or 3 generations. One divorce has that kind of power and impact on a business level, guys, business level. So, if we take away the sting of men leaving their families, take away the sting, you know, and normalize, accept that the norm is multiple loves. That is the norm, guys. Look at the divorce statistics. Why are we resisting what the statistics say? Why are we still forcing society to live against its nature? See, this is why my husband's left me. My husband's left me because we live in a society that force people to live one way knowing it goes against their nature. I mean, like they depend on it. They profit. They profit from having laws and statutes and expectations and normalizations in place, knowing that our nature goes against it. And as soon as we step over and go against it, boom, 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 we're fined. We're fined on every hand. So that's why, like, even this video, I have to admit, even this video that I'm making, I'm starting off basically complaining that people are being uncommitted, right? But now I've kind of switched gears. I hear myself, guys. I'm pointing it out myself. I hear it, okay? So now I'm kind of switching gears and kind of explaining why this is happening on a legal standpoint. Legally, when you're allowed to do something, you're going to do it. And you're going to do it and do it and do it. And then another law got to be made because, it's been saturated. You know what I mean? So anyway, I like freestyle talking. Freestyle talking, it sounds like rambling. To me, it's called brainstorming. Just let people talk, even if it sounds like they're all over the place and contradicting them own selves and sound stupid and off script, and just let stuff flow. You know, my channel is not some type of organized debate. I do freestyle dancing. I do freestyle talking. You know, I'll use tarot cards. I use instruments, anything to express myself. And I'll admit I'm crazy. People be on here like, you just stupid, you crazy, I get all kind of little, comments like that. And okay, okay, okay. Freestyle thinking, brainstorming can appear crazy. It can. Actually expecting someone to love just you for the rest of your lives can appear crazy, but we all act like it's possible. We all pretend like it's possible. We all sign paperwork to agree to do something that we have not been doing all along. We haven't been doing it all this time. What makes us think all of a sudden it's going to happen now? I'm not saying that it don't happen. I'm not saying it don't happen. There are people out there who have trained themselves, they have disciplined themselves, you know, prayed to God, suffered to no end to make sure they didn't cheat on somebody. You know what I'm trying to say? I say, since we fail so miserably at being committed, you know, I'll just admit, I let my husband's cheating on me break me down to the point where I said, fuck it. I'm going to not cheat per se, but I'm just going to open up the marriage. I'm not even really the type that naturally want to sleep around like that, technically. It's not really natural for me per se. You know what I mean? But if you going to get away with it to no end, you let it be known you don't want me. You let it be known I'm ugly. You let it be known, you know what I mean? And I'm supposed to just still be loyal and lay up here. I said, Most High, I know what your words say. Most High, I know this and I know that and I know this and I know that. But Most High, seriously, how many more suicide attempts do I have to have? Because this is killing my spirit, killing my intellect, killing everything about me. You know what I mean? So, Most High and I had an agreement. Most High and I did. It ain't had nothing to do with the husband. He out there living his best life. you know, I'm the one up here being all stupid loyal, and so, and got several more years to go with kids. And so, we opened up the marriage. Not so much that I can be sexually turned out, not so much that, so that I can see the world. I can see other people, see other families, travel. And Most High just led me through it all. He let me just see, just see. And I appreciate it. I got a bad reputation, but Most High know how to clean that kind of stuff up too. He's a restoration type of creator. He know how to get this earth back in shape. He, when it created it, he know how to whip it back in shape. So I'm not concerned about that. but how we treat each other while we're here. That's what I'm concerned about, how we treat each other. So I'm like, instead of us going through all this trouble, trying to force ourselves to be committed people, you know, committed based on whatever, laws, Bibles, religion, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Instead of doing all that to each other, causing all this hurt and harm, let's accept who we are, accept it, roll with it, learn how to treat each other from there. So, for example, if I know people, whether men or women, people naturally desire multiple loves. From birth, we have two parents. We don't even have to choose at birth. We have a mother and a father off the rip. It's not even just one person here when we get here. It takes two for us to even get here. And then some of us come here, we have sisters and brothers already here. We ain't even the only child. And then on both sides of our parents, they got parents. So we have four grandparents off the rip. So we're raised to have multiple loves. We're raised to have multiple people loving us all the time, supporting and caring for us. Then we go to school. We have this whole school, and then we have, you know what I mean? And then now I have to reduce myself down to this one person's world. One person. And if I can't do it, then I'm a bad person. And if I can't do it, then I gotta give up assets and money and resources that not only that I may have earned, but my family may have had for generations. How is that fair to any man or woman? Again, these are just questions, guys. I'm brainstorming. I just like the freestyle talk. It doesn't have to make sense or anything for real. It's just stuff in my head. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this. Just food for thought. You know, again, it's very, very, very difficult for women to be as bad off as we are if men were not equally as bad or worse. Because women cannot be led anywhere on this earth without men. Show me one woman can go anywhere on this earth without some male's permission from somewhere, somehow, some way. So I'm not even legally married. I don't have any fathers, brothers, uncles, cousins, or anybody overseeing me. There's no physical man over me, per se. But trust me, there are men over me, okay? I can't just go outside of my house and do whatever I want without some man behind some desk with the ability to send some other men in cars take me away somewhere for some other men to make decisions on what to do with me. I can't even do whatever in my house. Depending on how much disturbance go on in my house, a phone call can be made, and some men can kick my door down and come in here and continue that process. I'm just saying. All right, love you guys. You all have a good day. I'm just talking my talk. It may mean something, it may not. It is what it is. You all be blessed. Love y'all. That's how we are in the hood, okay? We just keep it real. We just let it rip. We do what we do, you know. But so I'm waiting for men to stop being hoes. I'm waiting for men to clean themselves up. And when men do it, the women will follow. What choice do we have? That's one choice we do not have. You know, we may have a lot of choices in life, like what clothes to wear and, you know, who we may or may not date and all this kind of stuff. We may have a lot of choices. But one choice we as women do not have, we do not have the choice to not follow men. That's a choice we don't have. So the sooner men act like that without being violent, mean, degrading, you know, then women will follow. In the meantime, women, we must support one another, not control each other. It's not about control. And it's not about keeping women away from men. It's not really about that. It's about just being a constant support. A constant support. Because we know the majority of the men are just trying to run through us. We know this. Come on now. We know this. We can't make it easy for them. That's the problem. We make it easy for them to run through us. We need to communicate. We need to secure our generational wealth. If we want to have fun with these guys, hey, we can have fun with guys. But why do my bank account got to suffer? Why do your bank account got to suffer? Why does your household got to suffer because of some sex? Neighbors should not be coveting one another. They shouldn't. But can neighbors sit down and have conversations and have agreements and understanding? Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Ain't nobody got to steal somebody's wife, steal somebody's husband, stealing assets and generational wealth. There is no excuse when all we have to do is communicate and come up with relationship agreements to protect family assets and wealth. So that's my whole point about commitment and uncommitment is to protect generational wealth. I've had enough sex in my life, to know that no woman's vagina is any better than any other woman's vagina per se. Are there you know, some differences? Yeah, minor. There's some minor differences. Yeah, 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 yeah. But for the most part, a whole is a whole. And with men, come on now, women. We all know. Yeah, There's some differences with men. It's minor. Ain't no man's private part enough to be making your kids and grandkids starve for generations. Ain't no inch or two worth that. So, again, we need to put our stuff in perspective. Whether you're a man or a woman, there is no excuse for your kids to be out here suffering for no reason because of your preferences, your sexual lack of discipline. Because that's what this really boils down to. My preferences in life and my sexual desires are so important, I will make my kids suffer financially, educationally, and my grandkids suffer forever because I make bad decisions. I can't be committed over fantasy shit. That's really what this is. I just don't want my kids and my grandkids to think it is okay to abandon families, abandon wealth over some preference, skin color preference, and sexual desires. It is not okay to put your wife in the street over some skin color and sexual desires. It's not okay to make your kids and grandkids suffer over skin color and sexual preferences. It's not okay. I'm wrong, and the men in my life have been wrong. And I'm willing to admit it and discuss the wrongness in this. I'm uncommitted because the men in my life have been uncommitted, period. I can't eat right now unless my ex-husband sent alimony money. I'm not independent, and he walked out on me 4 years ago, and I'm still not independent yet. That's the extent that the men in my life have been uncommitted. From fathers on down to legal husbands of 32 years. I was married legally for 32 years. And I can't eat today unless an alimony payment hit my account. So I'm forced to be uncommitted. Don't even want to be uncommitted, but forced. And now that I am, now I can tell why. It's because of uncommitted men. I had no generational wealth from my family, even though we were not poor people. The Bible talks about leaving wealth for families. And why do we have to wait for people to die to get stuff? You don't have to wait for people to die to provide your children starter homes. If men would stop taking their other women on fancy trips, if they stop cheating on their wives and with these women taking them to clubs, then they'll have money for their kids to go to college. They'll have money to give their kids down payments on homes so they don't have to struggle for everything. But no, 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 I make a lot of money now. No, no, I'm important. Y'all a burden now. No, I'm the man now. Y'all getting on my nerves. Yeah, I've been feeding y'all all this time. It's time for y'all to feed yourself. I'm the man now. I make money. I'm important. I'm high value. Y'all dead weight now. It's time for me to get a white woman now and go to the next level and have a better house. I don't care where y'all live, in the projects, in y'all car on the street. I don't care what y'all eat. I've made it. I deserve to be here. Fuck y'all, black fuckers. Yeah, y'all used to be my family, but fuck y'all now. I got a new family. Y'all was just holding me back all this time. you know? Uncommitted attitudes. Uncommitted. You know that Brian McKnight stuff. Brian McKnight. He had that song Temptation. Mhm. Yeah. People be standing at the altar saying, I do, and they be uncommitted in their heart. They be up there lying at the altar, uncommitted in their heart, lying at the altar for all the people saying, I do, knowing they hate you, knowing they never wanted you. I never want to be a bride again. Knowing that my ex stood there in front of all them people and married me, knowing that he didn't even like dark skinned women. You didn't even like dark skinned women? Why you asked me to marry you? You don't even like, you think dark skin was evil. Why? Uncommitted spirit. An uncommitted spirit don't care who they crush. They don't care. As long as they happy. As long as they get what they want. And then when they done, they can conveniently get rid of it. That's all that matters. That uncommitted spirit. Well, because I know people will actually get married when they don't mean it at all. And then not only don't mean it, but will cause harm to the family. Now that I know this from experience, I can never, ever, ever, ever risk putting my family through that again. I can't do it. So the only thing I can do is avoid single people on a committed level. And if I'm blessed to, be invited in a legal marriage, a committed couple who are proven, if I'm, invited in that relationship, I will respect it and treat it the way that I should have been treated. That's all I can say. Treat the relationships going forward, which for me are more likely married relationships that are open, honest, and have, invited me in. And treat those relationships with respect, knowing that my family was not treated that way. But at least I can heal and give back by treating a married relationship that they choose to live this life. They've always known. They've always lived this life. They don't know life any other way than having other loves in their marriage. So, you know, I can come in and bless their marriage and not tear it up and actually, give tithes and offering really, because I invested 32 years in something like it and I didn't make it. So I want to bless a marriage that did make it. But I want to be able to do it in a way that, that they agree to and that they respect and that it is honorable not only to our creator, but to them and to me and to my family and their family. There's no other way to do that. If you're doing it any other way, then you're bringing dishonor. If you're lying, cheating, deceiving, and all that, then you're bringing dishonor to families and you're cursing yourselves. But when you can be open and honest and ask and have understandings and commitments and, you know what I mean, arrangements and agreements and, you know, it just makes a difference. That's where the commitment is. That's where the growth is. You know, the respect, the joy, the happiness. And it doesn't matter how many people. It can be two people, one on one, monogamous, and experience that. And you can have a whole group of people, two, three, four, five people. But as long as everyone's open, honest, and agree and not lying and being deceptive, then it'll work. It'll work. And I want to invest and contribute my heart, energy into situations that work. Even if these workable situations aren't perfect and just simply good. Good works for me. Even when perfect is not available, which is most of the time, good works for me. Just don't hurt me. I won't hurt you. Don't hurt me. Don't hurt my kids. Don't hurt my grandkids. Stuff like that. Simple stuff. So, I just appreciate having access to a mature couple. They're actually younger than me. They're younger than me, this couple, but they're mature. They have successfully experienced something that I was attempting to in my last marriage. They successfully achieved what I was attempting to. And I have respect for them because I can't be with a man I don't respect. I can't give my heart. I like speaking highly of my man. I love, just like Most High says, to, give him praise. And then I think somewhere in the Bible it says something like, the man is the head. And, I like making sure my man is praised well. I like making sure my man look good, smell good, and is good, you know. And if there's a sister out there who, don't mind allowing other women to celebrate her husband with her, girl, tap in, because it makes her happier. It makes them, the stronger her husband is, the stronger she is, the stronger her children are. Like, I just feel good being able to sow into um, whatever capacity that they feel that I fit. You know, I feel blessed because otherwise I would just be completely solo. I would be completely solo because I no longer will invest in the one-on-one thing, the monogamous thing. I did that for 32 years and it just, it's not for me. Maybe it's for the exes, and that's why they may have left me for other women. Just benefit of the doubt, guys. But but for the most part, I have to admit that too, that it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. It you know, but the idea of a couple being out there admitting who they are to one another and boldly living it, you know, that inspires me. And I don't care if you're monogamous or polyamorous. If you believe in what you're living, you preach what you teach, and you know, you preach what you teach, and you teach what you preach. Basically, you teach what you preach, and you preach what you teach. I don't care if you're monogamous or polyamorous. If you're a leader and you believe in what you're doing and you profess it, then I respect it. If I resonate and align with you, not that it got to be perfect and not, it's not about perfection, but at least believe what you're talking about and live in it, and I can see it, I can follow you as a man. And you can be single or you can be married. I don't care. So, and I love the way this man loved his wife. I love how he loved his wife. Now, does that mean that the way he treat his wife will be the way he treat me? Oh no. I've learned that it don't work that way, guys. The way a person is with one person, they may not be like that with you at all. Your energy and their energy creates something totally different than the energy that they may create with somebody else. And it's all good. It's fine. It's not a competition. It's not a competition. It's just everybody accepting who they are and where they are. Respect it or get rejected. Respect it or get rejected. Hey, whether you monogamous or polyamorous, as long as you respect the agreements that's made, then you won't get rejected. Period. So, all right, guys, I've been talking a long time. Whew. But anyway, that's who I am. Dr. Leisha, the preacher. I just love who I am. I love who I used to be. I love who I am now. And I love who I'm going to be, you know. And even though, I spoke down on my past person, she was so weak, she was this, she was that. But the level of weakness that I displayed, I equally have that same amount of strength on the other side. Think of a butterfly. You have your middle self, your core, your core self. And then you have your dark side, and then you have your light side. So one wing on the butterfly, let's say it's the dark side of yourself. And then the other side of the butterfly wing is the light side of yourself. Both wings stretch the same amount of span for the most part. They're pretty much identical, pretty much. Maybe not exactly, but they're equally beautiful, they're equally big, they're equally stretched, they're pretty much equal. But one represents your dark side, one represents your light side. So the reason I could be so weak, the reason I could be so submissive, the reason I could be so um, dependent on a husband is because my strength in the Lord is just that impactful. That's just how much I submit to Christ. I obey Christ to the point where I can be homeless. I obey Christ to the point where I've lived in a $500,000 home before. So whenever God say turn left, turn right, go up, go down, spin around, you remember that Simon Says when we were kids? Simon says, Simon. Well, I took that game serious. Okay. And so, you know, so the extent that I can submit to and obey Most High, I display that in my relationship with men. And most men do not have the discipline, training, desire, strength to endure that level of obedience and submission of a woman. So, in those situations, only Most High can rescue her, provide her an escape where she is not utterly destroyed. Only He can do that. Only He. You know? So, because I endured that level of obedience and submission for 32 years, now I'm being rewarded with being able to, just praise and uplift another couple. You know, make sure that they continue on the journey because I put my time in and they still pushing. So I'm going to get behind them in any way that they need me to. Not any way, but Most High knows. He knows. He knows. And I trust him, you know. And what I like about married couples is that there's more accountability. Because, see, when I'm one on one in monogamy, you know, I have to go real low in those situations. But with other married couples, I don't have to go that low. I can tap in out, tap in out. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no tapping in and out when it's one on one. Jesus Christ. Whew, Jesus. But I love this work. I love the work of marriage. I love the work. Now, some women love the work of marriage on the dark side. They don't know how to be open and honest and interact with the first wife. They don't know how to do it. Not where it's healthy but they still feel like they're serving the couple. They're serving the couple, but they're doing it on the dark side. I serve couples on the light side where they know why I'm there. They invite me to be there. I know my place, my lane. They know it, and there's just no deception. There's no deception. And then you have women who just don't want to bother with any of this at all. And that's fine. Whether you are a woman who is just completely anti men, completely, because it's just so much work, and yes, it is. I ain't mad at you, okay? Or you can be the type that work on the dark side of marriage, and you're the one that's always keeping up confusion and deception and stealing and you know or you can work on the light side of marriage where there's honesty and clarity and accountability, responsibility, legalities if needed, and all of that good stuff. So there's different type of women as these uncommitted men, whether legally married or not, are running around this earth doing whatever they want, even getting married to each other. You know what I'm saying, y'all? Is it just me? Or y'all just gonna keep acting like this is not really happening? But in the meantime, while the Democrats are doing their thing, I ain't mad at them. I just rather go on the other side now, which I have been. Uh, and I didn't vote for no people because people are shooting at folks, guys. I ain't, voting for a person is almost like pointing a gun at them. This election was like, these votes are like loaded guns. So weird. So I just point at the party that we need to work on next, because I think the Democrat Party is pretty, it's they just need to figure out some stuff, and I just don't want to waste any more time over there. I just don't. Until they figure out what a woman is, until they figure out what a black person is, until they figure out why two men need to be married, until they figure out all this stuff on the Democratic side, I just, they're on pause, put it that way. And so I'm over on the Republican side. I'm not going to pick any people per se. I'm just over here checking out the party. There you go. And I would love for Beyonce to come dance on the Republican side. I really would. Beyonce, please come and dance and party. Okay? We over here waiting on Beyonce to party with us. so so I'm just over here checking things out, and kind of like when I first went to college. I went to a white college. I'm a black girl from Detroit, the hood, at a white college. So, I step up in there and I'm like, okay, so what's up, y'all? What's up? Now, I know these folks like, look at this girl. You know what I mean? Now, we've been there for years and years and years and years, but I'm here now, y'all. I'm here. It's my turn. It's like, hey. So I enjoyed college. It was fun. It was like, mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Go, Tim Scott. Tim Scott, don't give up. Don't give up, Tim Scott. Don't give up. Trump, do something with Tim, please. Don't give up. He over there creating some waves. You know, I don't know if he got married to the white lady or not. It don't matter. It don't matter who he married at this point. He just need to get, stay encouraged. Stay in there. Stay in there. But I'm over here on the Republican side like it's my first day of college. The first week or so. And even when I was in college, I was a part of a sit-in, and I was a part of a sit-in during college and stuff like that. So yeah, when you one of the few blacks that's penetrating an all-white arena, you need support. You need other black people to back you up. Cause see, the Democrat Party was like that at one point, but we went over there. Now we saturated it over there. We just saturated it, and we got a lot of issues that need to be worked out. So, you know, again, I'm just gonna pause that situation because that's gonna be a minute. So let's go over here to the Republican side and see what's going on. Let's see what's going on, y'all. There's no harm. Check it out. And so I stayed at my college. I got a degree. I didn't marry no white man. And when I was at college, I didn't even have sex with no white dudes at all. Not one. I married a brother. Even at a white college, I came out with a brother, y'all. I'm just saying. That's just me. But so I'm over here on the Republican ticket looking around. So far, it ain't much to see. I'm not impressed yet, but I ain't impressed with the Democrats either. It's just too much going on. So over here, it's kind of quiet. I haven't met any people. You know, I'm not the kind of person that's a preference or nothing. So it's easy for me to be low key, you know. So that's one of the things about knowing where you stand among men. And see, among my own men, I know black men do not really, to black men, a black woman is like family. You know, we're like family. So the excitement is low. There's not a lot of excitement to marry in marrying your own. So that's where the commitment come in. That's where the commitment come in. And those who lack the ability to commit, they just end up running through a bunch of women. Can't commit, low motivation. The laws are easy. The laws don't motivate men to want to marry. And then there's low motivation to marry your own. So that spirit of uncommitment is like default. It's like just defaulted. And instead of just admitting that, men will just start blaming women for their lack of interest and then just run through us because they're not quite in the position yet to dominate. Now, have black men dominated the white woman arena? Yes, but not at the financial status rate that they want to. Can they go and get any poor white woman? Yes, poor white women are a dime a dozen. But millionaire white women and stuff like that, white women in certain social circles, they haven't dominated that arena yet. And based on my experience, if you don't raise your black son in a quote unquote white community, then the only way he's going to have access to white women on that level is through sports, possibly college. Possibly college. There's no guarantee with college, but you know, it's a greater chance to getting to the next level white lady other than the poor one in your neighborhood, um, through college. It's either college or sports. Otherwise, it's the poor white lady in your neighborhood, the one next door. No effort to get. You know what I mean? So it's really like being with a black woman, especially especially once a black man, a white woman has had her first black man. After that, you're just like a black woman. You're not exciting either. You're not really that much of a prize either because you've already had your first black man. So you're really put yourself on the shelf as a black woman. That's why I understand why so many white women volunteer to live a black woman's life. It's so confusing, but on a business level, I know when it comes to love and preference, none of that matters. I get that. But on a business level. So that's why you don't have a lot of rich white women with black men. Unless that black man is rich too. That's the only way it's going to happen. So, on um, a business level, it made more sense for me as a black woman, knowing that my black men, husbands, legal husbands, I'll just limit it to the two legal people. It makes more sense knowing that they're going to leave me for other women, that they leave me looking their best, still employed, got money, got housing, looking like they got something. It's more important for me, business wise, that they leave me looking good than looking all broke down, busted, and disgusted. Okay? Because see, now I can be on YouTube bragging about how great and successful my exes are, and other women just was able to just woo steal them because they're so wonderful and rich, right? So the benefit in that for me is, I am the kind of woman that produce good men and maintain good men. I maintain good men, even to the point that they will leave me for somebody else. And I mean, expect it, really. you know? So I'd rather be known as that woman than the woman, anytime a man leave her, he ain't got nothing. They be broke. They don't have nothing. They be in and out of jail. You know what I mean? The man barely got shoes on his feet. I don't ever want to be that woman. I'd rather for a man to leave me at his best than to leave me at his worst. That's just me as a woman. Because that's how I have always wanted to be treated by men. I've always wanted to be treated at least that way. And I will always continue to treat myself that way and other people that way. As long as we're together, I'm going to maintain you at your best and encourage you to be your best all the way until the day you're gone. Either you're going to leave me through death, divorce, whatever. But when you gone, you're going to say, that was a good woman. She made sure I looked good. I wasn't broke when I was with her. I wasn't this and I wasn't that. You know, I was fat and happy. I got to do this and I got to do that. I got to travel. I got to, you know what I mean? I want a man to be able to brag. Even if I wasn't his preference. Even if I wasn't, all that. Even if I was ugly, I can still be the best you've ever had, for real. Even if you don't love me, I can still be the best you've ever had. Even if you don't love me, value me, respect me, none of that. Once I agree to be with you, I agree to treat you as well as I treat myself. And there's no excuse until I decide to leave. When I leave, then I no longer committed to treating you like that. Or when you leave. Once a man, I was raised, once a man tell you he don't want you, don't let him tell you twice. Now, I will admit, a man or two got to tell me more than once that he didn't want me. You know, that second husband, he got away with it. He got away with the second husband did. He got away with it. But, he made money and he made it financially worth it. So, not that it's ever worth it, and not that there's an amount. I'm just saying. But, you know, if the average black man out there think that the black woman is just, not that big of a whip anyway, then you telling me I'm ugly is nothing new. It's not that hurtful because I already know that's how you feel anyway. I already know this. But for you to actually say it is like, wow, now you got to pay. You know what I mean? Now you got to pay for that. And it's not even about me. It's Most High. Most High. We are His creation. And how dare anyone say Most High has something ugly, evil, while you riding it and using it up to no end? Most High wants to know, how is that fair? The Creator want to know, How does he give you something beautiful? You break it down, call it ugly, and move on to a better life. How does that work? Most High wants to know. But the spirit of uncommitted people, and again, this is not limited to men, I know that. But I'm a woman, so I deliver the message from a woman's point of view, men. So all I can do is just explain that. That's all I can do. I don't need to apologize for it, but it's just life. All right, guys. Whether it sound like it or not, whether it feel like it or not, whether this message come off like it or not, I love you guys. I do. And I'm just sharing my stories, my experiences, so that we all can do better. So that we all can do better. I'm not saying that people do not have the right to love who they want to love and break barriers of love. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is make sure that you are treating people the way you want to be treated. So if you're a 50, 60, 70-year old man and you're comfortable dating a 20-year-old, I mean, sincerely comfortable, and you wouldn't mind if your daughter that's 20 or granddaughter that's 20 is dating someone like you, then you're a man that can stand. You can stand on your belief through and through. Because what you're issuing out, you're willing for it to happen to you. So if you're willing for your daughters and grandchildren, you know, now committed men will understand what I'm saying. Uncommitted men don't care. Uncommitted men are, they're, I'm not even talking to you for real, for real. But the committed men, you might be single and you might feel alone and you might be struggling. And maybe the women your age right now aren't giving you much play. But before you dip way down that low, just look at your daughters and granddaughters. Just look at them if you have them in your life. Most men don't even have daughters and granddaughters in their life for real. So that's what I mean by uncommitted. You don't have daughters and granddaughters that you actually raised and care about. You're not connected to no daughters and granddaughters to care. So that's why it's easy for you to be 50, 60, 70 and run through a bunch of 20-year-olds. I mean, just run through them, like line them up. Boom, 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 boom. Like a machine gun. You know what I'm saying? But men who actually raise daughters, actually raise granddaughters, just put the brakes before you have these young girls sucking your dick for $20. One after another. Before you know it, it's one girl. And then it's 20, 30, 100, 200, 20-year-olds that sucked your dick for $20. Just know that your daughter is next. Your granddaughter is next. That's all I can say. What you put out there is what you getting back. And they can't wait. They can't wait to get your daughters and granddaughters. Because you've been out there doing it to their daughters and granddaughters. So that's why I'm glad my ex is out of my life. And I can yell to the world, especially to my daughters and to my grandkids, that that was wrong. What grandpa did was wrong. And I don't want none of my grandsons thinking it is okay to be married to a whole family for 20 years and then just walk away for a white woman. Don't do that to no black woman. I don't want no men that I raise. Well, I know it's too late for some, but the ones that are in my bloodline, do not do that. Don't use black women just to build up to get to your white woman. Don't do that. All in the name of preference. What? All I can do is ask you not to do it. If you do it, you do it. But as your grandmama who went through it, all I can ask you is not to. And all I can do is ask other black men not to do it. That's all I can do is ask. It's your choice. You're going to be loved either way. You're going to go to work and make a big paycheck and, pay your bills and have a family, go on vacation, have a great life anyway. No one's saying that your life going to fall apart. But I'm just saying that think about it. Listen to my videos, my story. See how, you know, it feels through my voice. And it may matter to you and it may not matter to you. And it's okay. But just weigh it out. Weigh it out. Like I said, most of the black men in my family are with white women. So, who am I to complain? It's just something about us black women that black men just don't want. And I couldn't care about that. You know, there's just something about me, this individual black woman here, no matter how much my black men did not want me, I just could not have babies by nobody else. I just couldn't. So, me personally, I'd rather find the good black man out there who is honest about his desire for other women. And it is okay for his wife to have other loves too. I am okay with finding that man and standing behind him because how he treats himself, he treats his wife. He lived by it, stand by it, prove it, and I can stand by him. And that's what I choose to do as a black woman, as an individual black woman. Are other black women willing to do that? No. They're not willing to say they're doing it, but they're doing it anyway. They still doing it anyway. They just not willing to say it. I'm willing to say it because I'm doing it. Well, I haven't done anything, but I'm just saying I'm willing and thinking about it. It's on the radar. So, you know, that's the kind of channel I have. I'm willing to speak my truth. And I want my members, I want my followers to be that kind of person too. I want my subscribers, the people who listen to me, who are inspired by me, live your life truthfully. And don't be afraid to speak it. I'm not saying you got to just stand on your roof and yell all your business. No, that's not what I'm saying. No. You can keep your business to yourself. But when you are faced, be honest. Live your truth. And if you have the kind of job where you have to lie about anything in your life, not that you have to go to work and broadcast your business, but if you were ever faced, try to have the kind of work where you can be honest about who you are. If you're in the position where you have to be, without the fear of losing money, even if you have to create your own business, to be honest, do it. It's better than being somewhere and lying. Because when you lie anywhere in your life, it makes room for you to lie everywhere. So I just let y'all know. We all are on a spectrum of everything. We're on a spectrum of honesty, a spectrum of dishonesty. You know how honest you are, and you know how dishonest you are. It's evenly measured. Whatever honest level you are equally dishonest. You just gotta find it. You know, it's your job. So yeah, the only way a brute beast can come in my life and destroy it is if I was a silly woman. You know, that's the only way. So I have to admit on this channel just how silly of a woman I was. What in my life set me up to be that silly and laden with sin? What in my life set me up to be that way? Where a brute beast could come on in here and just whew, do whatever. And I still was attracting them, you know, still attracting them. So the only way to shut down brute beast in my life was to just shut down access. I don't want to talk to any of y'all. I don't want to see y'all, talk to y'all, no. I'm staying to myself. You know? And let the one that is honest, let the one that is living the way that I actually want to live. I mean, not perfectly, but, you know, close. Once I close the door to all the brutal beasts, then it clears the way for the one person that needs to find me to find me. And for me, I don't care if that person's married or not, disabled or not, rich or not. I don't care. Just get to me. Because it's something about you that I need. Your honesty, your commitment, your ability to be you against all odds. And then see me being me against all odds. But if a person is married, then again, that honesty is important. Their wife, their husband, their spouse has to know. And I have to have permission. And I have to have an understanding and agreement. And then I can love freely. The freedom of love comes in the understanding. It comes in the respect. The acceptance, the availability, the clearance, the vision, the promise. Okay, I've been said I was going to get off of here. I need it this time. All right, you all have a blessed day. Bye. I don't know what got into me. Woo. More needs to come, right? Okay, guys. Bye.